saying, "Oh, I'm sneaking out of my house for what?" Because you have to let things breathe. So I told her I want to sit comfortably. So
Hey guys, it's Isabella or Izzy if you're new here, and if you're already acquainted, you
know
the vibes.
All of them done they notice. I'm not joking. All my guys, them know me. Since '06, I've been writing this story.
So today's video is kind of different. I have my friends here, as you can see, and we'll be just basically talking about our experience at Emory, being African and being in a PWI. That's like different. But yeah, so first we're gonna start off with everybody introducing themselves. Who would like to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. Hi, my name is Nancy or Nasi, and yeah, I was born. So we said introduce ourselves like majors. Or,
Yeah. Yes. You can go.
Okay, I'm a junior at Emory, studying film and media management. Yes, and minor in African American studies. And okay, I was born in Italy, but my parents are Nigerian. So I guess yeah, I grew up in Italy, like my childhood. So since when I was born until like 10 years old, and then I came to the U.S. That's a bit about me, and I think Joy, go ahead.
So I'm Joy. I am a business major concentrating in marketing and management and minoring in film and media studies. I was born in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, and lived there for 5 years before immigrating to the US. And I lived in Seattle my whole life before coming to Atlanta.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica. I am an engineering major, sociology minor on the pre-med track. And my parents are from Ghana, but I was born and raised in Colorado.
Okay, guys, you know me. But actually, I haven't told you guys much about me. But basically, I was born in Georgia, Lawrenceville, and I believe I moved to Ghana when I was like 1, and I was there since like till I came to university or college, which was like I think 17. So yeah, I was raised in Ghana, but I was born in Georgia in the U.S. I think that's pretty much what the intros are about. Okay, so we're gonna dive in. Okay, guys, are you guys ready? Okay. So guys, tell me, why did you guys pick Emory as a school? Like, why Emory?
I feel like we have these conversations every now and again. Like, why did we pick Emory? I don't know. Like, for me, it wasn't my top choice. Like, Emory was not even in my radar. Like, by junior year, I didn't even know what Emory was. But by senior year, like, I found myself applying to Emory. And I feel like part of it was because my sister went to GSU, Georgia State University. So I then started looking at schools that were in Atlanta and Georgia because I wanted to be closer to her. So I think that's why Emory even got on my radar.
It's okay. Oh, it's alright.
That's why everything got on my radar. African accents. Use this American accents, okay? That's how Emory got on my radar. And I basically, started, looking at Emory and I like, it was a good school in the Georgia area, best school in Atlanta. Let's be real. And so yeah, and I applied to a scholarship called Questbridge, and basically what they do is they match you to different schools, and I basically ranked Emory first, and then I got in, and the rest was history.
Wow, love that.
That's cool.
Wow, thank you.
But I also matched to Emory through Questbridge.
You didn't rank Emory first.
Yeah, Emory was number 2. I ranked like schools in the South, like they were my top 3. So it was Duke, Emory, and Vanderbilt. Emory was my number 1 for the longest time, and then I heard about the food, so I swapped.
The food.
Yes, I swapped very last minute. But besides that, Emory had a great pre-law program, which was why I wanted to go here, but I changed my major, so that didn't matter. Also had a great African dance team. I danced, so that was something very important to me. But Emory also has diversity as well. So those were important things as well. But I matched to Emory because I think God wanted me to come here.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that.
That's real. I think it's a conversation we've had a lot, like Nancy said, like honestly, God kind of ordering our steps here because
Yeah.
for me, Emory was like number 5 on my college list of what I applied to. Like I was not even looking at Georgia at all, and like my sister honestly was the one who told me to apply to Emory because I didn't know where it was or what it was. Then I found out it was number 1 for pre med, so I was like, okay, that seems like a good option. But then I got a full scholarship to go here, like full merit scholarship, which was huge because otherwise I wouldn't go to a school like Emory. But like compared to the other options that I had, Emory was like the most diverse. It was the most diverse. It was I think the best location in terms of like having people I know around because I'm like the first in my family to go out of state amongst my siblings, so I was like I was really far from home, moving like all the way across the country. So honestly, yeah, I just think God, like everything kind of worked out the way it was supposed to.
For me, why Emory? I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I wasn't trying to come to Emory. Mainly because when I went to school in Ghana, I have a brother, and we went to school together, and it was always like I felt like I was his shadow, and I was always like, "Hey, Edmund's this, Edmund's that." So I just wanted to create like this like identity of my own, basically. So that's why I was like, no, I'm not doing Emory. So my first choice was actually George Mason. But the thing is that I didn't think I was gonna get into Emory, so that's why I wasn't really like, okay, I'm going to Emory, I'm going to Emory. But once I got that acceptance letter, oh, it was it was just like gave me so much motivation to actually be like, okay, no, maybe this is the school for me because I just felt so much conviction at that time. I was like, no. So George Mason was at the like bottom of my mind when I got the George Mason acceptance. I was just like, you know what? Let me try this school out. Let me see, how the vibe is and everything. And I'm saying if none of us, or if one of us was like, oh, we're going to go here, imagine we would have met each
That would have
other.
been so sad.
I'm saying,
I'm like, I've definitely had like the best college experience.
Yes, so far, like the
here,
horror
so.
stories that you hear from people, like roommates, even like the
Friends,
school, like just environment, like we haven't had that. So
Yes.
Exactly.
It's like the fact that like we've been friends for so long, we all live together, and it's just like we couldn't be happier. So
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Exactly. No.
man, we love that.
God really did that.
God
Like,
did
It's a
that.
he
blessing.
did. Yeah, exactly. How was the experience like for you coming from? Actually, let me first ask you guys. Like at home, were your parents strict, or were they kind of just hey, everything goes type of things? Like, how were your parents? Like, because we all know African parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Wait, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I feel like I kind of had a interesting balance because, I mean, y'all will know that I grew up in a predominantly white area, and so there was definitely that culture shock and like that cultural difference where I had to, maintain my culture at home. So of course, having stricter African parents relative to the white students or like my white friends, like there wasn't a lot of I could go out. I couldn't really hang out with people that easily. If they don't know the parents, of course I'm not going to go there. Sleepovers are no go. Like, and so like all those things like ended up, I guess, in a way, kind of like people just didn't really invite me to things later on in life because it was just like, oh, Jessica's never gonna go because like her parents don't, want her to go out and stuff like that. And like I think being older now, I see that it was because they were trying to protect me in some ways because some people are a little wild out here. But at the same time, I think definitely my parents were more strict than the people that I was growing up around. But compared to other African parents, my parents were way more chill because they were tough. Like, of course, grades and everything like that. You have to be able to take care of the house, whatever. But it was like they were less like, overbearing, I guess, compared to other parents. Like they definitely let us have a little bit of freedom, but not as much.
Yeah. I think for me, it's different because I grew up in Italy and like the community there was just the Nigerian community in specific was just kind of different. Like it didn't feel like you had to be strict because everyone kind of knew everyone. So like even sleepovers, for example, like I had sleepovers with my friends because our parents were friends and we went to the same church and like because it was maybe a smaller community, it felt like even we went out, like I remember when I was 10 before coming to the US, we would take the bus, me and my friends were all like 10, 11, my sister was 12 And like we'll take the bus, we'll just go shopping. My mom would be at work, my dad would be at work. No one would know. We'll just go like just hang out during the summer. And it's like it felt I don't know because maybe Italy's a different country than the US and like things were just different. But yeah, so my parents were not that strict compared to like the stereotypical African parents in general, like compared to that, like they were not strict. But like I do think that they were still like we knew that our parents wanted some things from us, like grades and like you have to do well, whatever you do, you have to be successful. And even like the stereotype of like, oh, you have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, one of those three things in an African household. Like I feel like my parents didn't have that standard for me. Like as long as you did well in whatever you thought you wanted to do, like that was the goal. So like success was above kind of like these restricting ideas of what you have to do, what you don't have to do. And so yeah, they weren't that strict. And also maybe we should explain like sibling wise, because I have an older sister and a younger brother, so I'm the middle child. And
Me too.
yeah, middle child. And
I'm last born.
last born, two older brothers.
Two older brothers, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also last born. I only have one brother.
So yeah, I feel like sometimes there's also a difference in the way. Like I know that you were saying that your sister was last born, so they kind of like it's different the way they like bring her up versus you guys. So I feel like there was some difference. But for us, I have a younger brother, and there was not much difference. Like our parents were not strict, and like just also I feel like the type of children we were not.
Yeah.
We didn't really do anything, so there was no reason for my parents to like have iron hands to be like, oh, you guys have to do no, because we just were chill. I think we wanted to make our parents proud enough that we wouldn't do some things. Like we knew, okay, you can't do this, you can't do that. Your parents give you some freedom, but you don't have to like exploit that freedom. So I think,
I would say like just to add on like quickly, like my grandma also was very involved in raising like at least my older sister and I a lot because when my parents were working and stuff, my grandma was the one taking care of us. So I think that also factored into kind of like you said, we just weren't gonna do crazy stuff. Like there really wasn't a reason for us to. But also just seeing like how hard our parents were working. It was like, at least with my older sister and I was like, we're gonna respect that. Like we're never gonna do anything crazy. And like with my younger sister, there's like a big age gap. And so I think having two older sisters, she also like has a way she carries herself based off of like she looks up to us. And so my parents don't have to be as, tough on her, I would say, because like she has two older sisters that are going to put her in line anyway and just make sure that she's like, doing what she's supposed to do.
Yeah. No, even that thing of like, sorry, your parents like doing so much, and then imagine I come back from work, you're saying, "Oh, I'm sneaking out of my house for what?
For what?
Like that's crazy. No,
sneaking
like
to where? Also?
Where are you
like,
sneaking to?
Why?
Like, no, it's just there were just some things we weren't gonna do. So.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, my experience was a bit different. My parents were very strict, and it was mostly because, well, they were Nigerian and also they were very religious. Like, my dad's a pastor, and my mother's a prayer warrior. So, if I want to go out, she will get a dream and she will tell me not to go anywhere. I remember that I was supposed to go to this football game. I wasn't allowed to go to football games, but I managed to convince her. And before I could go, she was like, "Joy, I have a bad feeling about this." That was a no. So I came home, and I think hours later, I found out that there was a shooting.
See, but she's right.
Yeah. Sometimes the dreams, they just get.
Yeah. But at the same time, some of that came from paranoia. So that was something I had to deal with. And I also had the same experience that people weren't inviting me to places because they already knew, like, Joy's parents were not going to let her go. And that also shaped my personality because I became more introverted because I became so used to being alone that it didn't bother me as much. And also being a last born and the only girl, I was very restricted with what I could do, and I think that's why I wanted to escape. Not like, like I love my parents to death, but like I needed to find myself outside of their yeah. So it was definitely the best decision, like going out of state for college. But I don't regret the way I was brought up. I think it has changed my thinking and has saved me from a lot of bad situations. So. And my parents now, they have so much trust in me because I was obedient when I was under the roof, and I still continued that because they instilled a lot of values in me. They didn't just tell me you couldn't do this because you couldn't do it. They gave me reasons, and that's why I tried to act accordingly and make them proud, like Nancy said. So, yeah.
No, that's real. For me, it was a bit of a mix because my dad is very like chill, not always like he wants me to go out. I remember when I was back home, he's just like, "Hey, why just stay in the house. No, go out, go here. I'm just like, hey. Or even if like, yeah, even if like sometimes maybe my friends and I want to go to a dinner. We used to scout for restaurants. Just go to the new restaurants out there. My dad was there chauffeuring me, like he was taking me here and there. My mom, on the other hand, is very strict. Like when it comes to going out, she's always like, "Oh, you have to call me every second." Like if she even allows me to go, I have to call it every second. I have to do, and so she was more of like okay, not that my dad was also he cared, but it's just like he was just more laid back in a sense where he was allowing me to explore and just go out and just experience things. But my mom was just very skeptical because she's like, hey, there are crazy people in this world. I don't know. I don't want you to go out. Something will happen to you. So she was just very like, I'm not sure. But she did let me go out sometimes. She was just very vigilant. Because I remember there was this time that I went out with one of my close friends and we were going to the movie. So my mom was like, oh, mommy, I want to go to the movie. So she was like, okay, cool. So she's like, "Oh, okay. Your brother and I, your brother and I are going to go to the mall too." I'm thinking, okay. Whilst my friend and I are going to watch the movie, she probably go do some shopping with my brother, leave, or just wait for me somewhere. Tell me why she entered the same movie cinema.
Is it showing?
She went. I was like. So the whole movie, and when we were finished, she was now waiting for me. I was like, okay, let's go. I said, oh, I can't even get time. I didn't even get time to be like, oh, let me hang out with my friends small before I go home. No, as soon as I finished the movie, I was there. But yeah, so that was my experience. So, considering you guys' experience, how do you think that would I say affected you when coming into college? Now that there's full freedom, you can go anytime. If you say 12 a.m., I want to go and to Waffle House, you can go to Waffle House. Like how is how was that change? How was that transition for you guys?
I think I think I've mentioned this to y'all before, but it was really tough for me to go out when I first came to college because especially when you've never really had that freedom to go out, I feel like I always had in my mind like, if I was going somewhere with my friends in high school, for example, my parents would always be like, make sure you test where you're going, make sure you're careful, like you don't know what's around. And so if my friends come up to me, and especially freshman year, people would say like, oh, Jessica, we're going out like to go get food. You want to come? And in my mind, I'm like, should I go study? Should I just stay in my room? Because like it's not even just parents. It's like when you grow up in an African community. Because I grew up in like a Ghanaian, Nigerian, Cameroonian community back in Colorado. It's like everybody when you're going to college, make sure you're staying and studying your books. People go out, don't follow them. You'll get into like bad crowds and all this stuff. And so then for me, it was like I had to break myself out of that cycle of just like keeping myself to my room and not going anywhere because then I was like, either I do this and nobody ever like invites me out and I don't make the most of my college experience. But I think, like what Joy was saying, I think I also had the wisdom of my parents to be able to like know, okay, there's certain boundaries that I won't cross. So like, I had to push myself to go out more because I was very used to being introverted to myself. But at the same time, like just know, okay, let me find what I do like, what I don't like, and what I won't do. But I would say, yeah, the transition was hard at first, but I had to really push myself.
Um, in my case, I feel like so before I came to college, my dad said you should be in your room reading your books and going to sleep. That was all he expected me to do. So my dad doesn't know about the parties I've been to. He doesn't know about my extracurricular endeavors.
Daddy Joy.
But it's a joke. It's a prank.
It's a joke. Yeah. But my mom knows because before I came to college, like our relationship just grew, and I was able to be transparent about several things. So she knows about like the parties I've been to, the things I do outside of school. My brothers encourage it, and like my mom doesn't frown at it. So I don't feel the need to like hide that from them. But I'll probably keep hiding it from my dad. But that's just how he is. But yeah, I feel like I've experienced a lot, especially freshman year. Me and Izzy.
I was about to say, like, yo, we used to be outside.
Yeah, we were outside, girlies. We were out. Every party you will see us there. We went to a lot of parties.
We were, I don't know. We just wanted to explore.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with us. We just like sometimes we're just like kind of boxed in, so we just wanted to see, like what was this party like? We weren't really, familiar with the party scene, so we're just like, let's just try it out. But yeah, we were going crazy.
After a while, it just stopped. We experienced what we needed to experience, and we realized that it's just not for us.
It's not,
and I feel like that was necessary.
It was.
I feel like if you're still like caged in and not allowed to do things, once you're released, you go crazy. But I'm glad we had each other to like set boundaries that we're not going to do certain things while we're at this party, stuff like that. So it was definitely helpful having like a sister figure, a mother figure, just making sure that we are in line.
So many African students, I would say, who come to schools like Emory and stuff, but because a lot of us are out of state, people went wild. And it was just like a whole like 180 from who they were when they first got to campus to like who they were after. And I feel like you said, it was good that we had each other like to keep ourselves in check and be like, it's never that serious. You don't need to be doing too much. Like,
people went crazy.
Let me just tell you, in this whole almost 3 years in college, I've only been to how many parties? 1, 2 maybe. You know what? Because I feel like because of how I was brought up, I already kind of knew what I liked and what I didn't like, who I was and who I wasn't in terms of like, I'm not gonna go out to this party. That's just not my scene. I just already knew it wasn't my scene. So even the parties that I went to when in college, like I feel like I was just trying to let me just see. Plus I went with all of them with you guys. So I was just like, let me just see what's going on. But I already knew I don't like this. Like I feel like I am like an introvert, so I already know I just don't like. I want to be home. I want to be in my room. I want to just be chilling. Watch a nice movie, read a nice book. But I don't feel like that was who I was. So I never had this kind of like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? Even in terms of like what Jessica was saying, going out to eat, things like that. Like I did that already when I was like 10, 11, 12. So I feel like it wasn't a debate. I was like, oh, if I want to do it, I'll do it. Of course, I used to ask my parents, how can I go? But they'll always say yes. Like it wasn't even can. I'm like, oh, I'm going to hang out with this friend. They'll be like, oh, be careful, do this. But it was always kind of a guarantee. So I never had this debate within myself, like, should I do this, should I not do this? It kind of always felt like, if I want to, and it's safe, and I like to, and and I'm gonna have fun when I do it. Like I'm gonna do it,
Oh, as Joy said, I honestly, coming into college, I really wanted to just experience things that I hadn't really experienced, not too much. But just as you said, the party scene, seeing how that's like, and if I really like to party. But I just felt more. I didn't feel like I was, confined, and I feel like I got a bit too excited. But at least I had people that were around me to check me and be like, "Hey, that's a bit too crazy." But I think I had a similar experience to you, that it was just just figuring out if I really like these things and actually trying out things and realizing, oh, maybe this is not for me, and then I kind of just lit with that.
We can confidently say we don't like the party scene. I feel like an ideal Saturday night or Friday night is just us watching movies.
Literally.
It's so much effort.
Exactly. And even we can do our own party here. Like we really just be turning on music and we are doing our own small party here. So it's honestly a vibe.
Yeah.
Coming into college once again, who were you drawn to forming relationships with? Like, did you come in like, oh, I'm looking for the Africans, or I'm looking? Do you get what I'm saying? Because we're in a PWI, so we're not. Take it.
Okay, so I think because I went to a PWI high school, and I know Emory was a PWI, but I didn't honestly our class was the most diverse in terms of Africans even. But I was looking for an African specific, Black women, even if it wasn't African. That's who I was looking for those type of friends. because I think that in high school at a PWI, I didn't really have those relationships where I could like be both African, American, whatever, and kind of bring my whole self to the friendship. So I kind of was looking for those people who I could, have fun and get into my African, like have those little things that we can relate on in terms of like the way African speech. It's not really African, but you know how we talk and then we like have fun, like
our
that's
banter and
yeah, our
stuff.
banter, like that's how I joke. So I was looking for those type of people, and I think
Yeah, honestly, I would say the same thing. Like going to a PWI high school, I wasn't really close to anybody. Like when I left, because even though yes, I had friends and like people were nice and stuff, it's like what you said. You can't bring your whole self because it's like people won't receive it or they won't understand it, even if they think they would.
yeah.
And so it was always like I definitely felt like an outsider all the time. So honestly, when I came to Emory, I didn't know what to expect. I really just like kind of prayed. Can I just have friends that like I can just laugh about it or talk about anything with and feel free?
Yeah.
That's all I was looking for. And so, honestly, I don't think I even came looking for like African friends specifically, but I definitely wanted black friends because I was like, it's really hard to be the only black friend in your whole friend group. But I was open to being friends with other people. But finding like an African community was huge for me because I was never really close to, even in Colorado, like where I lived was so far from like the main African community that I was never close to anybody there either.
You don't have an
So
African community in Colorado.
yes, it's Colorado. It's not the middle of nowhere.
No.
Somebody who lives in Seattle. Anyway, it's okay. Anyway, no, we did have an African community, but it was like everybody lived like in the city, and the rest of us were in the suburbs. So then people already thought you were whitewashed anyway. So I was like,
Oh, that's a discussion.
yeah, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
So like honestly, coming to Emory and finding like African friends and finding that niche, I guess, and like finding people like you who end up being my really really close friends. I was like, thank God, because I can really just be free to be myself and not feel like I'm always putting up a front because we have to do that in class. You have to do that in like your job. You have to code switch so much, and I've been doing it all my life. And so it felt like a breath of fresh air to not have to do it anymore. Like at least with my friends.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Like when I tell you, I wear there's this skirt that I wear. It's a long
You guys need to
and it's like let me tell you, like in my internship we lived like it was like I lived with other people who were not black, right? And like there was this one girl who saw the skirts because I wore it. I probably shouldn't have, but I wore the skirts to sleep. I wanted to be comfortable. I went out to brush my teeth, and this girl, she looked at me, she was like, "Oh, you look so nice." And my mom was like, "It's not supposed to look like." And that's telling you the reaction when I wore it. They laughed. They were like, "Because it's not supposed to look. It's supposed to look horrifying. Like, right? It doesn't look nice."
You describe this here for them.
Okay, so basically how it came to be is that there was this cloth that we sewed. It's very ugly. Like if I have a picture of something, but we sewed it. It was like a long sleeve. It looked like a ghost when we sewed it. So that skirt was supposed to be for a wedding. Both my sister and I, we wore the skirt. Then we said, okay, we don't like this skirt anymore. So we told our mom, can we repurpose this for something? My mom was like, okay, got you. And I think it was my idea. I was like, because my sister doesn't wear that skirt. But I told my mom, I want to like wear a long skirt, something comfortable, flowy that I can sleep comfortable in. Because you have to let things breathe. So I told her I want to sleep comfortably. So then she cut the skirt part off of the dress and she kind of sewed it in a way that then it's a long tube, like free form, doesn't have any form. It doesn't have any form.
No shape.
No shape. It's just perfect. When you walk, it swishes and it's just nice. And you can sleep and it's breathable and it's just the best thing ever. I have 3. I think there's a bigger one that's more good material. I left that at home. And then I have 2 that I brought here, a purple one and a blue one.
Yeah. So, I honestly know, I feel that so coming from Ghana, obviously I was just exposed to majority black people. So coming into it, it's not like I was like, oh, I want black friends, but I was like, it would be nice, to also, because I feel like I related more with like, especially the African community, but I was also, as Jessica said, open to like meeting new people, finding new friends. Honestly, you guys remember, did you follow the Facebook group?
Is that Facebook?
It was.
Yeah, like when you never. No, because I was scouting there, own bio, in a post that you post so that everybody will see and they will comment under your post. So I posted that I love Afrobeats mainly so that they can, some Africans or people who like Afrobeat can, come under my post. So generally I did want some African people so that it will be easy to like relate to them. But honestly, I was genuinely open to like meeting new people, but I was drawn to like African people.
Yeah, I relate to that. I feel like, yes, I lived in Seattle, but my school was very, very diverse. But the African friends I had were like Gambians, Sierra Leoneans. Is that how you say it? Sierra Leoneans?
Yeah.
My best friend is Habesha. I didn't really have like Nigerian friends or Ghanaian friends, so I was already used to being around Africans. But like coming to Emory, I was scouting for West Africans specifically, Nigeria, Ghana, and luckily I found those people. But that's not me trying to like discriminate. It's just a matter of we are so similar, and even like being in that diverse school, I still felt like I was holding parts of me back. Like being living with these people, I just feel like I can completely be myself. Like I don't have to form or like switch my accents. I can talk anyhow. How I'm speaking right now is not how I speak regularly in this house. But it was very important to find that African community, and I think that's why finding an African dance team was important because I had that in high school as well. And just being able to talk about things similar upbringings, experiences, that was very important for me to relate to other people as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I would say like definitely the African student events on campus because I'm also on the dance team.
Yeah.
So vibe is so fun. Because I've been a dancer like my whole life, but I did like ballet and praise dance and stuff, and even doing ballet, there was oh my gosh, there were comments about like, oh, this thing doesn't match with your skin tone, it matches with your skin tone because I was the only black student out of 120 ballerinas, which was crazy. But like coming to be on an African dance team is so nice because again, like you said, you literally can just be free. Like I literally can dance just to dance and it's fun. So those things are nice. And honestly, I would say like being able to take my hair down in front of people and nobody has to say anything is nice. Like being able to just like literally something as simple as your hair, wearing a bonnet like and or a scarf on your head because you don't feel like doing your hair like and nobody's gonna be like, oh, this is so unique and like and it's like it's not supposed to be unique.
It's not supposed to be unique. It's ugly. The skirt is ugly.
Bring back the skits.
No, to what you were saying, honestly, like even being able to cook food. Because like Isabella was cooking the other day some stew and I was scenting it from my room. Like that's the like African food when you cook it like you can smell it until like you on your clothes you like it's kind of but like on your clothes that you wear like you can sense it. So it's like in some places you can't do that because like then people are like, oh, what are you cooking? Like then it's like
or to even eat something like gari, like to make gari and
Exactly.
yes, and like to eat with my hand, and nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, what's this unique food that you're eating?"
Exactly.
Like, you know.
I feel like for me, the biggest perk is being able to insult people and they don't take it like in a bad way. They just get the banter.
Exactly.
This is what Africans do.
Like you know, if you don't insult someone, you don't love them.
You
like,
don't.
for real.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm only nice to people. Oh. It's honesty. I'm only nice to people that I'm not close to.
Yeah,
You know?
that's so real. Because every time I say my brother, or like say you're giving to my compliment, oh, you look nice with your big head. Like I always kind of like, ah,
You also.
It's like episode 4, actually. Yeah, people are real to me. No, if I'm cool with you, I will start teasing you instantly. Like
No, we battle each other every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah.
Every day we have something new.
every
about.
day.
Thank you guys for watching the video. Please don't forget to
Comment,
Like,
subscribe.
and I'll see you guys in the next video.